of us.
Yeah.
All right. This must be what teachers feel like at the front of the room when everyone gets quiet.
They hope it gets.
I didn't know. I was in the back row not paying attention, so I didn't know what they were doing in the front.
Yep.
We good? All righty, we're gonna get our meeting started here at 6:30 on July 14th. We have a quorum. Call to order with begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, amendments to the agenda. I wanted to move our scholarship presentation up to before old business, just so we can get that taken care of right away. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Is it a learning experience to stay here and watch though?
Well, I don't want to subject them to outside of school work. All in favor? Any opposition? Yes, all right. But before that, so now, any other amendments? All right, any public comment?
Right, I'm first, sorry.
No worries.
don't
No apology necessary. Just your name and your street. So
You're getting used to me.
that's all right.
Kimberly Post, 274 Rabbit Road, hello. And I'm here to follow up on the concerns that neighbors have raised and submitted to you on the June 26th email, and to connect them to the broader pit and corridor issues the town is now facing. Our code enforcement officer has confirmed several key points. Rabbit Road was never designed to function as a major haul route for heavy industrial vehicles, and the truck problem predates the Jaden Pit. All trucks using the Jaden Pit are actually over 23,000 pounds, and even with the consent agreement's narrow restriction on Jaden's own trucks, contractor trucks still use Rabbit Road against the owner's wishes. And there are multiple active pits in close proximity to Rabbit and Hollowell, and not all of them operate under clear enforceable hour of operation restrictions. As the planning board chair reminded you earlier today, Rabbit Road was resurfaced about 10 years ago, and about 5 years later, the road commissioner, residents, and pit owners all acknowledged that Rabbit and other roads in town were not built to handle this level of truck traffic. Yet the pits prevailed in keeping those routes open. This is not just a one operator issue. We have a cluster of pits feeding heavy industrial truck traffic through the small rural roads that were never intended to carry it. And residents have been paying for that mismatch for years in road damage, private drinking water risks, crash risks, and daily safety concerns. At the same time, both the CEO and the town's own conditional use decisions make clear what the original intent was for pit operations in Durham. Weekday hours of 7 to 7, Saturdays 7 to 5, with no material processing before 8 a.m. and no Sunday operations. Some of the older grandfathered pits are operating without modern conditions on hours or truck routes, even though they contribute just as much to the cumulative impact. And now we have the Jackson Crooker Pit formally reactivated and an Agriculture and Energy District planning grant in hand to study the Hollowell-Cushing CMP corridor, including gravel pits and the CMP corridor as economic strengths. Durham is at a crossroads. The choices you make this summer will determine whether this becomes a formal ag and energy district that continues to function as an industrial corridor on small rural roads, or a district with clear enforceable limits so that pits, trucks, clean energy, and neighborhoods can coexist. I'm asking you tonight to take 3 concrete steps. Post Rabbit Road as no through trucks for heavy industrial truck traffic, and either address it tonight or put this request in the next select board agenda for discussion and a vote. Request a Maine DOT safety review of Rabbit and Hollowell intersection and implement appropriate safety improvements consistent with a truck restriction. And direct that all active pits in Durham be held to the same operating hours standards already written into recent permits. Monday through Friday, 7 to 7, Saturday, 7 to 5, no processing before 8, and no Sunday operations, bringing older pits into line with those expectations. So these are not anti-business requests. Our goal isn't to end gravel and trucking in Durham, but to make sure they only continue within the limits that respect people who already live here, the school traffic that uses these roads every day, and the aquifer and water resources we all depend on. And you've heard this for years from residents and from your own road and planning officials, that these roads were never meant to carry the load they're carrying today. Tonight's an opportunity to finally act on that knowledge and protect our small rural roads before the impacts become irreversible. So I urge you to treat these requests as a chance to show that Durham can support business and resilience without sacrificing the safety of our families and the health of our land and water. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Get a copy of it.
Yeah, could you send a copy of that to us again as well? Thank you.
Yes.
Any other public comment tonight?
I'm Tyler Hutchison, Hallowell Road. Also talking about our favorite topic, which is pits and business. Also not coming up here to say I'm anti-business. I really like the idea of push to get solar farms and agriculture businesses in town. I just have also seen what I consider to be ineffectual enforcement of codes with the Jaden pit. I think after months of them expanding to 4 times the original size, seeing that their eventual fine was $15,000, which is essentially 3 busy days of revenue for them, seems like it's sort of opening the door to not having any way to hold people accountable. I think we've had Dugas Pit in this area for years. I think they've been great to the community. They have their own laws for their own truckers for how they use the roads. They have ways to sign up to inform neighbors when they're blasting or doing anything noisy. They have free sand for people to use. I think they've tried their best to do something that's been beneficial to the community and respect people around them. But I think without more laws in place or more oversight, there will be more bad actors that we can't seem to combat. I still haven't heard what the expected ramifications are for the PFAS that has ended up in our well water from Jaden Pit spraying to put out fires. What's being done with their refueling pad, which didn't have any trenches or slab for it, which they were supposed to have via the EPA. The road damage that is happening from trucks. We have, yes, these 10-ton vehicles, which if they're 2 axles is about 2,000 passenger cars worth of damage to the roads. And I think based on our tax model for pits, then it just really doesn't make sense that the residents are going to end up footing the bill for repairing roads that we're doing significantly less in damage. Additionally, along Route 9, Hallowell Road, where I live, we have a number of grandfathered driveways, which are over blind corners, blind hills, single or double. I know one of my neighbors is right in the middle of a valley with 2 hills on either side, and there's these trucks come screaming down the road at 60 miles per hour, and it's becoming more and more frequent, but I feel pulling out of my own driveway. I feel like I have to just close my eyes and hope that a truck's not coming over it, which I feel like there's been more and more close calls. There have been a number of studies, especially on rural roads, that increase in trucking significantly increases accidents, which in these cases are almost always fatal because of the size of the trucks. Yeah, I think just wanting to see real change and real enforcement and some clear guidelines for what we expect rather than hoping that companies would do the right things, especially when they're adding significant traffic and weight on our roads. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
Do we have any other public comment for the evening?
My name is Donna LaPierre, and my husband and I live on the Rabbit Road. I'm going to give you a brief history lesson. We bought our property in 1976. We're at the top of the hill on the Rabbit Road. In 1980, when we moved to the Rabbit Road, it was a dirt surfaced, a good road for biking, a good road for walking. Heavily loaded trucks seldom use this road, seeing alternative routes like state roads designed for such traffic. Back then, there were only 10 driveways leading into the Rabbit Road. Today, that number 10 has tripled to nearly 30. So there are 30, close to 30 driveways coming into the Rabbit Road and out of the Rabbit Road. Heavily loaded trucks flowing through a residential area on a road that's not designed for such traffic is a disaster ready to happen. I therefore support posting the Rabbit Road to limit trucks over 250,000 pounds or whatever the town feels appropriate, as well as seeking the state to investigate the possibility of having a 4-way stop sign at the end of the west end of the Rabbit Road. Particularly when we travel from the Rabbit Road to Brunswick on the Rabbit Road and connecting to Quaker Meeting House Road. And all through that corridor, there are 4-way stop signs, except for one that is really needed on the Hollowell Road. That would slow traffic down so that they're not necessarily speeding along the Rabbit Road. They have to stop and then they pick up speed. I want to tell you, I wasn't going to bring this up, but I want to tell you an incident that happened to me coming out of my driveway. I stopped at my driveway at the top of the hill and I needed to turn left. I looked to the right, I looked to the left, I looked to the right again, and when I started to proceed out of my driveway, there was a big red gravel truck that came out of nowhere and didn't even know that I was there, did not know. And I think it missed me by about 1.5 feet. That was a disaster that I'm describing that's ready to happen to someone coming out of the Rabbit Road. It needs to be posted. Raise your hands over here if any of you feel safe walking or biking on the Rabbit Road. I'm the only one that's stupid enough to do it. I walk on the Rabbit Road all the time and it's dangerous. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other comments tonight in public comment section?
Brian Funk, I live on Hallowell 886. I'd like to discuss and just reinforce that some of the stuff that's been happening at these pits. And the things that concern me the most are the times of what they're allowed to work. I don't know about you all, but everybody keeps saying they're allowed to work from 7 to 7 p.m. I get home at 5. I do not want a bunch of trucks running down in front of my when I'm trying to relax. I don't want to listen to the pit in the background, which I can hear every day. They should be limited from 7 to 5. There needs to be enforcement. That means our code enforcement officer needs to get out there and do his job. Not just every once in a while or when we're making a complaint, he needs to go out there at least unexpectedly, at least once a month, if not a couple times a month, and do a pop inspection. That way they don't have time to prepare. That way he will see what's actually happening. Need to limit the amount of trucks on the road. I can sit there in the mornings and count 50 trucks going by my house. And I'm not talking just dump trucks, I'm talking 18-wheelers, and they're flying. That's a concern. I mean, I understand Rabbit Road, but now that traffic's gonna be on Hollowell. That's gonna be going down here past the schools, past the fire department. That's an issue too. They don't care about us. You're supposed to be looking out for us. That's why we elected you. The stuff needs to be taken care of. There needs to be enforcement and there needs to be some sort of punishment. $15,000? Really? You think that's a punishment for them? That's a punishment to all these people. We're the ones that have to live here near that. Now you're considering a corridor? Really? Think about it. I moved to this town almost 20 years ago. Come out of the Marine Corps because I needed peace and quiet. And here I am. I've got trucks coming and rumbling by my house. I got a pit that's constantly doing nothing but working. I can hear it all day long. That is not peace and quiet. And I do not want them working on Saturdays or Sundays. Give us a break. I'm not anti-business and I have no issues. Dugas has been there. They've been a great neighbor. They warn people when they're going to do things. You don't see a lot of trucks coming up and down. They've been respectful to the neighbors. But these new people coming in are not. They don't care. I know John Snell. I know him very well. He doesn't give two, excuse my language, craps about any of us in this room. Not one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Oh, it's all right. Thank you, Brian. Do we have any other public comment this evening? I would ask anyone who's submitted verbal comment tonight, if you don't mind, if you've got remarks prepared or you can summarize those in writing, we'd appreciate having those emailed to us as well. And so really would appreciate that. No more, the last call for public comment.
I got a question.
Yeah. We just need your name and your street. We can hear you as long as you say your name
59 Rabbit
Yeah.
Road,
and name.
Don Alley. Been there just about 50 years, bought it in 75. The road was dirt. And now you guys tarred it, you raised it. What that man said is right. The truckers don't care about the people in town. I'd like to know when and how you guys are gonna decide this.
Mm.
It really needs to stop and stop as soon as possible.
Mm.
I'm just asking when, huh?
Covering.
Yeah, oh, they go by my house. I'm in the curve, the dirt falls out. Cars are going by and they get showered like that. I was in Brunswick today. I saw half a dozen trucks. They had 3 axles, all covered. Dugas covers his. The rest, 90% of the other guys don't cover it, and they don't care. So that man has said that over there is absolutely right. They don't care about what we do. But you guys were elected to take care of us. And we're all looking for you to do that. That's all I can say.
Thank you. Appreciate that feedback. Does anyone else have any other public comments tonight?
Can I just, I'll just say one thing.
Yep, just your name and road.
Jeff Margison, Pine Mill Drive. And, I got a Rapid Road too, but, can we stop with, I mean, are we gonna all of a sudden wake up 3 months from now and somebody's just bought 30 acres or owns 30 acres and decides they're gonna become another gravel pit? I mean, is that even a conceivability? I mean, is that possible? I mean, it seems like we're pretty open to allowing this stuff to happen, and if you have some land, you can do it. I mean, I don't know, I'm just kind of questioning what. And because I mean, when you compare Ripley Pit to the Dugas Pit, I mean, Dugas is just, yeah, he's there and it's a nice, steady, slower process. These guys are frantic coming in and out of there. I mean, you've got like 18 trucks and I mean, every 20 minutes, it seems like. I mean, it's crazy. I've gone by there and seen them in line trying to get out. I mean, at one point, a couple months ago. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it just seems, and of course, yeah, the guy went beyond his 5 acres and. Yeah.
Oh, could I say one thing?
Well, I just want to make sure this gentleman's done.
I'm
Yeah.
done. Sure.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
I wanted to bring up the point that when we bought our property in 1976, it was 160 acres of land. And as soon as we bought the property, we met someone who said, you can't have a gravel pit on this property. There's a moratorium. So it is possible for towns to state a moratorium on no more gravel pits. I think we've had enough. I think we have a limit. Go look at the town of Gray if you want to see what gravel pits look like. Miles and miles of deep holes, completely destroying the land. This is not something we can get back. It's a non-resource available. And it doesn't come, all that's going out of town. So the towns out of Durham are benefiting, and I'm not sure how much taxes these gravel pits provide for this town of
Yeah,
Durham.
no, where's the benefit, right?
What's that?
Where's the benefit to the town?
What is the benefit?
Yeah.
What is the benefit to the town?
Thank you. Do we have any other public comment tonight? Well, I know this board really does appreciate getting all this feedback. This is a topic that we definitely need to explore further, and there's quite the process to go through it, but feedback like this is very important, so I really appreciate it. And I took a lot of notes, reflect upon it, got your name, so if any of us have any follow-up questions, we can reach out and get some more info from you, so I really appreciate all the feedback tonight. So our next item of business here will be to approve our meeting minutes. So I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from June 23rd.
Yeah, really fast. Why don't you explain to everybody that we can't really have a discussion right now? Because
Yeah, sorry, I should clarify. Rebecca has a good point. So in our public comment section, we really have to limit this timeline to receiving information from folks. It's not really a back and forth. And in terms of taking actions, whether it be discussing this sort of policy or discussing more moratoriums or discussing permit allocations, that's not something we have on our agenda, and so we can't do that from the floor this evening. While I understand everyone in the room has a very strong and informed opinion on it, when we talk about these things, it has to be announced at a broader scale, so everyone has the opportunity to know there's a potential policy change or policy being discussed tonight. And so since we don't have that on our agenda, we can't cover that tonight. So what I will do is take all of your comments, make sure that our code enforcement officer gets it, and speak with our code enforcement officer and our town manager to get as much information as we can, possibly even pull in town planner, code enforcement, all that, and see what sort of options we have to discuss this further, whether we have to do it via a public hearing, whether it can be done via a normal meeting. We are constrained by a pretty strict process that we have both at the local level and the state statute that guides us. So we have to go through it in a very meticulous way. So not taking any action tonight is not reflective of dismissing any of your comments or anything like that. We have to receive it and figure out a way to proceed. So we're not going to change anything on the pits tonight because we can't. So I just don't want you to think we're just disregarding what you're saying. So
may I make a comment?
Yeah.
I think we should commit to our next board meeting. If it's not the goals meeting,
it's
but
not.
we should come back with what are our next steps on this
Mhm.
topic.
I agree.
I'll put that on the agenda
And do
for
whatever we can in between the
Yeah.
meeting, but we need to get this addressed. We need to
Mhm.
get people in the room.
Right.
Not just the residents, but the business owners,
Mhm.
and we need to get these comments
Yeah.
acted on.
So we can either do it the 28th or August 11th.
I think August 11th is both.
What's that? Oh, that might be goal setting. Either way, we can discuss that during our later in the meeting tonight, but when we'll put it on the agenda, but we'll put it on the agenda very soon, one of the next few meetings to reflect the importance of this issue.
So just keep an eye out on the
Mhm.
agendas because we need to come back with what the heck we're gonna be doing
Mhm.
here.
Just so you all know, agendas are posted by end of business on the first and third Thursday of the week of the month. So Thursday's end of business is later, but that's when we'll announce what's on the agenda for the following week, which is our meetings are always the second and fourth Tuesday. Agendas come out first and third Thursday. So
And prior to that, I think we can also make a recommendation for the main DOT or for Calvin to reach out to the main DOT also about starting with the four-way stop.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass all this on to Calvin as well. So.
Because that's not our jurisdiction, that's the main
Yeah.
DOT because it is Route 9.
Mhm.
But I think, yes, I've always gotten hit at that intersection many times.
That's important. Well, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alrighty. The motion to approve our meeting minutes from June
So
23rd.
moved.
It's moved by John. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion or questions? All in favor? Any opposition? Seeing none. New business. One of my favorite parts of the year is always awarding our scholarship. And this year, our scholarship award goes to Sean Gastongway, who's with us here tonight, and his mom. So that's pretty exciting. All right, Sean, I'm gonna have you come stand up over here. I always enjoy when I meet high school age children taller than me too. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Hold on.
Yes, so we have a little thing to read off for Sean here. So tonight we are pleased to award the Durham Community Scholarship to Sean Gastongway. Sean has been a strong student, a dedicated member of the swim team, and someone who's shown real commitment to work, technical education, and community involvement. A few examples of Sean's accomplishments include serving as captain of the swim team, competing the Skills USA, including diesel equipment technology, receiving Skills USA Maine Gold Medal in diesel equipment and technology, being recognized as a student of the quarter at Region 10 Technical High School, and earning academic and athletic recognition through the Freeport School. And after giving him that handshake, we've got a diesel mechanic, right? That's a firm grip. Sean will be attending the Florida Institute of Technology to study mechanical engineering, and we're glad to support him as he takes his next step. Sean also, on top of this busy schedule, works for local businesses including Sweet Meadow Events, Cobb Excavation, Mechanic Wells Veterinary Hospital. So, congratulations, Sean. Good luck with everything. Okay.
Can I just get a photo over here?
Yeah.
So it's kind of has potato chips and Girl Scout
Yeah.
cookies.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm just gonna get the top. You don't have to go.
All right. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And congratulations to his parents.
Yes.
Yes, congratulations, guys. Very much.
Thank you.
All righty. Next on the topic for tonight, we have the Ag Committee here to discuss the hoop house discussion. I appreciate your all's patience. I know that I rescheduled you 3 times. And I promised that tonight it was going to work out, so I'm glad you can make it here. So if you just want to come up and just give us a brief update on what the request was, and we can talk about it a little bit further.
Sure. Thank you for having us tonight. My name is Jonah Pertwee Bird. I live at 125 Bowie Hill Road, co-owner of Celebration Tree Farm Wellness Center, and I'm the co-chair of the Agriculture Committee.
Eric Day, I live on Wingate Farm Road, former manager of Replanova Farm, and also member of the Ag Committee.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we came before you in February to present this presentation. I see you all have in front of you. And yeah, so not to reiterate, all of what we said then, but essentially, the average cost of production for farming has increased. And we have more and more farmland that is falling out of agricultural production. But farms do still have generating more than $1.1 billion in economic impact, supporting nearly 13,000 jobs statewide. And so we, as Ag Committee, formed to really support and promote agriculture in Durham, and both look at where there's opportunities to promote, look where there's opportunities to reduce barriers to agriculture. And so we are working on some broader work that we will bring forward in this next year to next year's town meeting. But when we started to look at maybe some smaller pieces of work that were barriers, we saw that the fees charged for hoop houses in Durham were really prohibitive, and we're out of line with what, is being charged, in other, local communities. And so, I think right now, yeah, the current fees are within the commercial fees of commercial building fees. And so what we've came before the committee back in February and, reiterating today is really a request, to ideally, eliminate fees for hoop houses, which are essentially temporary structures. And, that would be the request. And, in this presentation is more examples of, what other towns are doing, like Warren and Auburn, which have no permitting fees for ag buildings and structures. Mine does a greenhouse is a flat $35 fee. And hoop out in Bodenham, hoop houses and high tunnels, have no permit or fee. So those are, examples of other towns. And, as we look at within our comprehensive plan that we want to promote the rural, character of Durham, part of that is, to support working farms. And so, if a farmer was looking at what communities are supporting, farm viability, you're looking at what's it gonna cost for my infrastructure? Is that gonna be prohibitive? And I mean, and Eric brought this example up originally because of Rep. Nova's experience of, a 30 by 70 hoop house, right? That's so 2,100 square feet, which how much does that end up being for the?
At the time, I think the fee was $1 per square foot, so.
$2,100.
Yeah, and the cost of the hoop house itself depends on when you're starting at, but like 7 or 8 grand. So the fee being whatever percent,
Third of it.
significant percent
Yeah.
of the total cost.
Okay.
So that's the overall, what our request to you is, and I'm open for further discussion or questions.
Does anyone
We
have?
Krista Chapel is here as well with Maine Finance Trust to prepare this great packet of information. So she also could answer questions as well. And Krista's been a great support to our committee in this work.
Well, thank you for the presentation back in February when you gave it the first time and again tonight. Does anyone have any questions for anyone from the committee here?
How many farms are there in Durham? Like business farms? Do you know?
That's
Is
a
it-
great
is
question.
it
I mean,
10
that's
or
something
20?
actually we have had a desire to look, get a better assessment and it's also, as we look at that, and this is one of the things that we've been working on within some of the work with definitions to differentiate between an agricultural enterprise that is a business. Because there's various farms that may not actually be businesses, but maybe more focused on homesteading, and also depending on what's that threshold of business. So I don't have a great, succinct answer for you for that, but our hope is that we will have more farms, and at one point Durham did have more farms.
And the fee elimination is intended for all the residents of Durham. So even somebody who is not an agricultural reader, but wanted to do something in their backyard, put a greenhouse up or something like that, it covers. Is it covered just
Yeah.
normal greenhouses and hoop houses? Yeah.
Yeah, it would, I mean, I think what we had proposed for language, and was, really to, I can't remember where in this
That's
packet is.
okay. I mean,
But, is to, have it as something that, actually limits it for all hoop houses, yeah.
So with regards to the flat fees that they're not in, did you say Auburn got rid of their flat fee? So it's formerly?
Yeah, so on page 8 of this presentation.
Yeah.
Warren and Auburn both have.
So Warren and Auburn, no permitting fees for ag buildings or
Right,
structures.
okay.
So that's,
Oh, okay.
any ag building, period. And formerly, Auburn did have a flat fee of $25 plus 7 cents per square foot. That was their former model. But they've now, no permitting fees for ag buildings or structures. So that's, just to clarify, we're not asking for that tonight. We're saying just hoop houses. So this is saying also in Auburn, you could build build a barn and not have the permitting fee for that barn. But we're just talking about hoop houses tonight. Unless you wanted to go first, but that's the.
That wasn't on the agenda.
Yeah, that was on the agenda, so you can.
Any other questions?
The number, I mean, the question that I envision us getting is, how much is this gonna decrease revenue for the town, right? And so,
Yeah,
how many of these are going up every year? And
I mean, that's a great question. And my guess is a handful, I mean, like 3, 4, 5. I mean, right now with, the state of where we're at with agriculture in Durham, maybe more, but I mean, that's, so, it's not like it's, we're not, the hoop houses aren't paying for the town budget. They're just a small, yeah.
I have a comment
Yeah.
from the code officer. He just wanted me to ask that if you waive the fee, just to also require the permit just for zoning oversight. So no
Right.
fee, but just have him go out and make sure the hoop house is not.
Yeah.
a restriction.
And I think that was one of your initial asks, was that, understanding the permit, just asking for the fee to be waived.
Yeah, the fee is really the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we probably, from a financial standpoint, count on fees coming in from these.
Yeah.
So I think even though we,
Yeah.
it contributes, but 1 year nobody could build, have them, and there
Yeah.
would be no permit fees and.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm inclined to be in favor of this.
Are you still open for questions?
Yeah.
I want to make sure what we're talking about, because it was a very good package, but it was confusing. So a hoop, I want to make sure we understand what you're saying a hoop house is and what you're asking. So a hoop house is whatever size it is, and there's various ones, but it is a non-permanent, it's not glass, it's polyester or saran wrap or whatever you put over those things. It's not anchored to the ground. And I guess my big question is, and I'm not in favor of, if there's electricity or water, then there should be a fee for electrical inspections and water inspections. So if you're just asking for a structure that is, like plastic wrapped, whatever it is, and I'm not describing it very well, but has no electricity or water in it, that's one thing. But if I read somewhere, I think in your info, that some places blow air between layers to insulate it. Some of those facilities have fans to exhaust. They put in heaters if you're gonna try and grow in the winter. And so I'm not in favor of, if we're gonna have power run into it, the power part being free. The structure, whatever it may be, the 2,100 square feet that you dealt with is a different issue. I'm okay with no, I would think we'd want to have a permit, but no fee associated with it. So that the code enforcement guy knows it's going in and he can go out and look at it like he wanted to.
You want to talk about giving some more?
Yeah, I can only speak to the hoop house that hoop houses we have, or the one that we were charged for. The electricity, there's no electricity to that one. The irrigation is coming from a spigot attached to the main barn and the main building. On the other ones, there is a spigot, but the electricity is solar power. So, and there are, like you said, exhaust fans and inflation fans powering those. One of the packets in here does define what a hoop house is versus a greenhouse. A greenhouse is considered with heat. like a propane tank
Well,
attached.
they're two different things, are they not? I mean, the way I read this was there is a hoop house and there is a greenhouse.
Right.
And a
So,
greenhouse generally has a foundation. That's what it said in here somewhere, and she's shaking her head, yes, but.
yeah, well, I just wanted to make the distinction that we're not talking about greenhouses.
Gotcha, I agree.
What you're talking about is somewhere in between, a hoop house and a greenhouse, a little bit more.
A hoop house that has power going to it is something that I'd like to charge to do the electrical inspection.
Just one note here too, yeah, so this packet, which is put out by the Maine Department of Agriculture, Conservation and Forestry, so this provides guidance, and official definitions, there's lower Caterpillar tunnel, which is a very temporary thing, high tunnel, which, and then greenhouse, so that gives the three different definitions.
Yeah, and it says here greenhouses, the distinction between greenhouses and tunnels is often determined by the covering.
Yeah.
Glass can be used on greenhouses, not high tunnels, in the presence of a heat source or other utilities beyond water source for irrigation, which I think is what you were getting at there as well.
There is some heated, high tunnels as well.
Yeah, I've seen
but yeah, I mean, I think that cover is really.
So you would want it,
We're talking, I mean, I think really the request here tonight is really focused on the high tunnels. You know, and I think to what you're saying, John, I mean, and I think we had, talked about this previous, the recognition that electrical work is different. And so that's not the request is not to exempt those electrical folks.
and then I would just recommend that we're using, well, maybe we should, using high tunnel and hoop house interchangeably. They're not necessarily, there's a hoop house and there's a high, I guess I want to make sure that we cover both in whatever we do.
Yeah, I mean, I think, high tunnel and hoop house are often used interchangeably. Maybe just for sake of, because the DICF has it in here, this language, high tunnel might actually be the better language to use as it conforms with what states.
And the major thing too with them is high tunnels, low tunnels, all that. The crop is planted in the ground, whereas my understanding is with a greenhouse, it might be on a platform within a greenhouse. Whereas like the definition with high tunnels and low tunnels is you're covering the ground to extend your growing season, and then planting in the ground. And so that's where there's a bit of a distinction there too.
I would just use both.
Yeah.
That way, and I think you're working on definitions, but I would work with the planner to make sure that whatever definition you come up with is in the definitions of the land use ordinance.
Yeah.
Do we have any other questions?
I'm okay if as long as the electrical and, if it's just a spigot, but I mean, if somebody's running water, just electrical, I think is the key.
So could you, oh, sorry.
No, I was just saying, I agree with John. I understood it to be just asking to waive the fee for the building or the structure itself, not for the other.
Yeah. Does anyone have a motion they'd like to make?
I will, I will make a motion that we waive fees for, and I will say hoop houses and high tunnels, as defined as, not permanent, they're not on a foundation. Did I cover it for those two uses? Electrical would be covered the same as a building permit.
Let's see what's in our.
So just so waiving the fees for the structure, not for the.
Just waiving the fees just for the structure. Thank you.
I'll
For
second
the
that.
non-permanent structure.
The non-permanent,
Yeah.
the hoop house and the high tunnel.
I'll second that.
All right, so
Then
let
you
me
call
just
it
clarify
whatever
here. The motion is to waive the building permit fee for high tunnels.
But still require the permit.
Yes, waive the fee.
Right.
Is the motion, yeah. Okay, there's a motion from John. Is there a second?
Second.
Josh, okay, perfect. Any other discussion? No, I think I really appreciate you bringing your experience, and I understand it can be frustrating to sit in a chair and ask for other people to get a permit release or a fee taken away that you had to bear the burden of. But for me, when we think about maintaining rural characteristic there's not much more rural than growing food. And so I want us to make sure we're supporting that and being tangential to the industry. You know, if we're increasing your profit margins by giving you an extra 3 weeks of growing season, but gobbling that up with a $2,100 permit, the math's not mathing. So, any other comments before we vote?
Do we just wanna also say that we're gonna waive the admin fee, cause any permit application gets an admin fee of $35.
How much is it?
35.
$35.
Yeah, I'd waive all fees
I
for the
would,
building.
yes, yes.
Yeah. All right, all in favor?
For only high tunnels. and
For high tunnels, yeah. All in favor? Any opposition? Seeing none? Thank you.
Before I went home, my wife was the daughter of a farmer.
Yeah.
Probably told me not to be a dick, so.
Appreciate your guys' work on everything.
Well
That may
done,
not have been
John.
the word she used.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All righty. So now we're going into new business, review and discussion of economic development committee. George, is that what you're here for tonight?
It is.
Wow, the room cleared out.
Yes. I'm bummed the room cleared out because I think that there is some misnomer that the Economic Development Committee is looking to create some sort of travel corridor, which is not the case. And I also know that you're going to present to us tonight, but I want to make clear, some people referenced us as the committee making the choices. It is going to be the residents and members of the community. So I just want to caveat that, but we give you the stage here, so.
Okay, I'm George Tavares, Town Planner, and I'm here to answer questions about the proposed resolution on forming an interim economic development committee. The town received a grant for $75,000 from the state to do a study of the area surrounded by Cushing Road on the north, Hollowell Road on the west, and Brown Road on the south, about maybe a mile or two toward the Freeport, Brunswick. So as we've heard tonight from some of the public comment, this area has a number of existing gravel pits. It had received an application for battery energy storage plant a couple of years ago because of the CMP transmission corridor that goes through there. So the town is looking to try to bring some positive things out of this opportunity. And the area has about 860 acres. It's several very large parcels, and only about 13 property owners control all of that acreage. There is an aquifer there that provides a potential opportunity for a water source, as well as protecting it, as you've heard concerns about that tonight. And some of what we've seen across the state is that repurposing gravel pits, often they're supposed to do a plan that kind of restores the edges of the pit and reshapes it and uses it for other purposes. That with some of the older pits, that hasn't really happened, as you're probably aware. So it gives an opportunity to work positively and proactively with pit owners to see if there's possibility of repurposing portions of their pits for the purpose of solar energy. And there's really no better place from a visual impact and a land impact to place those large solar farms than gravel pits. And we're seeing that across many parts of the state. So the analysis is included. The grant application gives you kind of the details of it. But tonight, really what Gary and I are looking for is the resolution to establish the interim economic development committee. We have proposed that it consists of a representative of the land use policy boards and commissions. That would include yourselves, select board representative, the agriculture committee, planning board, and the conservation commission. All of these entities have had a lot of background on these issues and understand what the goals of the town are and comprehensive planning parameters. And then look for an at-large member from the community with economic development or business development expertise and experience, and really have that be kind of the oversight committee for the study that's gonna be done by the Greater Portland Council of Governments. And so the resolution kind of lays out that process. More recently, we've also talked about the benefit of having an alternate member for each of these groups. So that if one of them is out for a period of time, you'll have someone to step in. And obviously, the dual role of those representatives would be to give feedback from the perspective of various groups, but also to communicate with the groups what's going on with the study. And then when it comes to the point of the study's been done and there are recommendations coming out, look for those citizens of the community who have been part of this process and really understand it, to really explain it to the community. So at this point, again, what we're looking for is to get that interim economic development committee up and running so that GPCOG can launch this major study. If you have any answers.
Anyone have any questions for George?
No, this is great. The volunteers needed, you guys, you took this or who you did
George
this?
did.
This is great. This is nice.
It's
And there have
really,
been a few people have already expressed
Yes.
some interest.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, really?
within these parameters that you have. Yeah, it's really a great opportunity, and when I hear you explain it, I think that, I mean, it's an opportunity to explore some type of possible businesses that can support tax revenue.
Mhm.
To try to
Yeah,
ease the
and-
burden, but it's a lot of controversy around these types of businesses, industrial parks and all that other stuff.
The
So,
reality is without public water or
Yeah, I was just
sewer,
gonna
you
say.
really can't do industrial parks as they do in other communities.
Mhm.
So really what you're looking for is something that not only fits within Durham, but also really has viability.
right, right.
And the energy corridors and the agricultural. As a matter of fact, the earlier item tonight, challenges facing farms and farmers. Down on their list is lack of access to on and off farm infrastructure and processing capacity to diversify business. And that would be one of the main things that you try to look for in this is agricultural processing. So that these local farm businesses have some place to go to have their products processed and packaged. So it's looking to take advantage of that opportunity and provide a needed service to the agriculture interest in the town.
Any other questions for George? I think it's, go ahead, John.
I will make a motion that.
Well, I had a
okay,
comment
sorry.
before, and I was waiting for other people to say things first. I like the idea. The only thing that I was thinking a little bit differently is I was thinking about maybe we could expand to more than one regular at-large member to get a little bit more community involvement. Some feedback I received is this is not our intent, but the perception is that committees are kind of like, you get on a committee if you're in the know and there's not a good way to break in elsewhere. And especially because I know that there's a lot of a passion around this topic, I'd like us maybe to add another at-large member from the community. I just want to judge other people's thoughts on that.
I like that idea. So 2 regular members and 1 alternate member.
Yeah, the only challenge is I'm just counting here, that'd be select board, ag committee, planning, conservation commission, so that's 4. If we did 2 more members, that would be an even number. That's the only challenge. In case they had, I know sometimes we shoot for uneven numbers or odd numbers to break ties if there's a vote, but
And just to clarify, you're talking about 2 additional at-large members.
So,
not
2 at-large-
from each
Right,
one.
correct.
2 at-large members. So a member from the select board, ag committee and planning and conservation commission, and then 2 at-large members, instead of 1 at-large member and 1 alternate. So we have 2 at-large and 1 alternate. So that's just my thought process.
Will the at-large member be allowed to participate?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I mean, there is an opportunity for that person to,
Yeah.
to keep it on.
You mean the alternate?
Did I say?
Yeah, you said
the
at-large, but I just
I'm
wanted
sorry,
to-
the alternate are
Yeah.
at
No,
large.
no,
Which-
actually with this, I think, chart, and the alternates aren't even in here.
Mhm.
But I think what the intent was to kind of keep it a scaled group
Mhm.
for decision-making purposes and so the intent would be there would be 5 voting members.
I'm
And then
sorry,
the
voting,
alternates-
but like the planning board,
Yeah.
the alternates
They would not
participate.
vote. They would.
They do not vote, but they participate.
They would vote if the other member.
If the other member.
Yeah.
But are you asking about the at large?
I'm asking about the at-large alternate, because I think
Oh,
Joe's
okay.
concern is, and it may be a legitimate one, is how does another person get involved?
Right.
They could participate, they just can't vote.
Yeah, and so I don't, whether we call it one at large and two at large alternates or whatever, I would just like to see us expand a little bit more community involvement there. Maybe the next, another alternate, could be something, I don't know. I just want to raise the point that my hope would be we could add an additional seat for people to participate.
I like that idea. Do you think there would be a problem if there was an even number of committee members?
Well, my suggestion would be to add a third one.
So
So three.
two at large
Yeah, what you could do is.
and then
have-
one at large alternate. So it'd be a committee of 7 plus an alternate.
But the alternate is a tiebreaker.
No,
Well, The alternate would be there in case one of the others can't.
Yeah, so we'd have a
Right.
select board, ag committee, planning, Concom, and then 2 at large.
Right. but
And
that's
then,
six.
no, two at large, so 4, 5, 6.
Seven.
And
2 at large would make 7. Right?
no, there's 4 core committee members. We'd have to add 3 at large.
Yeah.
And then 1 alternate.
So what I'm
Okay,
saying,
I'm sorry, yeah.
yeah, so what I'm saying is, would you foresee any issue with 6?
No.
6 voting
Being there.
members.
No.
So then
No.
it's fine.
Yeah, so I would say I like this idea. I just want to have
If you have.
4
a tie vote-
standing.
If you have a tie vote on this, it's probably not going anywhere.
Yeah, I'd say these 4 delineated select board, ag committee, planning, Concom, then 2 at large and 1 at large alternate. So it'd be a
That's
committee of 6 with 1 alternate.
Yeah.
That's my only suggestion. So. Do we have a motion?
I was just gonna say, the only thing I don't like is the interim part, because I think we need an economic development
That's a
committee.
good point.
So,
This could be their first project of the new
Right,
economic
I-
development committee.
Yeah, and just in response to that, I think the intent is to say that part of this study analysis will be looking at options for a long-term. Some communities have what they call an economic development commission, and they have the authority to negotiate agreements, and then they don't have to do it out in a public meeting. Obviously, that would not necessarily be a suitable arrangement like Gorham and other
Mhm.
places. They have economic development commissions. Probably an economic, so we'll be looking at that option for the long term.
Yeah.
And then this is focused on this area. There may be an
Yeah.
extension of that. in the
Because I see this as we have a grant to focus on an area, but that doesn't mean that the committee's work has to end
right,
at the
That's-
end of the grant. So I think
Yeah.
that's a good point, Josh.
yeah.
This is step 1.
Yep. Alrighty, so I guess since I've coaxed the motion, everyone, I'll make the motion. I move we establish our economic development committee consisting of a member from the select board, a member from the agriculture committee, a member from the planning committee, a member from the conservation commission, 2 at-large members from the community, and 1 at-large alternate from the community.
Were we doing alternates for the other boards in case someone can't make it? I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be the recommendation.
And
Alternate for all.
alternates for each standing board.
I'll second.
Thank you. Just because you're hand cramping as you write this
Little bit.
motion down. All right, so just we have a second to clarify, my point would be we'd have primary people from each board, 2 at-large members from the community, 1 alternate from the community, and each board would also have an alternate that could fill in a voting capacity should a board member not be able to make it.
Well done.
And GP Cog's the leader, or you're the leader, who's,
It'll be a partnership. GP
Similar.
Cog is gonna be doing most of the legwork, but we'll be doing coordination and support.
Alrighty, so all in favor of the motion? Any opposition? Seeing none? What I'll say real quick is, I think that we can leave it up to each of the committees to decide who they want. I think we need to put out and then we can talk with Jerry when he gets back, but put out a call to the community for the at-large positions. I know, John, you had expressed
I would be
interest in the
interested
select
in
board
one of the
role.
positions.
And so, we should probably have a vote. We can do that tonight or next meeting on who would be from the select board, if there's anyone else interested in being the alternate. I'd defer to you four as filling those two roles, because I have a lot on my hands right now. So do we want to have that discussion now, or would we like to put that on for a future meeting? Who from the select board will
Be an
on the committee-
alternate?
be on the committee, and who will be an alternate?
Well, John just said he wants to be.
Yeah, so I'm saying we should
I would
enshrine
volunteer
it. Yeah,
if people
yeah,
Are okay with that.
yeah.
At least me, doesn't it?
No, there's,
I mean, I would, it just depends on the meeting times.
Yeah,
Right,
I mean,
that's-
that's for me.
I mean, if
too.
you're gonna meet at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, I'm out.
Yeah.
If you're gonna meet at 6 or 7, I'm happy to stay.
We'll have two alternates.
It's, I mean, it,
Well,
Fine,
you
I'll
have
be,
any
I'll be,
interest,
I'll be
Deb?
an
I'm
alternate.
gonna stick with Vance.
Thanks,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I'll be an alternate.
Rebecca can be an alternate.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you need to vote?
All right, I make a motion the select board assigns John as our member and Rebecca as our alternate.
I'll second.
Second from Deb. The two people who aren't on it are making the motion and seconding. So. All right, any questions or discussion? All in favor?
We vote.
I'll abstain.
I'll abstain.
Any opposition? I thought you were gonna vote against, but
can we,
Thank you.
we talked about, can we put a deadline for the
Yeah.
at-large?
I say we post it for 2 weeks.
That's-
14 days from the day we post it, calendar days. Because we want to get, I'd like to
That way,
give this committee the opportunity to convene sometime in August, you know.
can we, I'm sorry, can we have it close at 5 o'clock on the 28th? So that we
Works for
can,
me.
we can put on the agenda so that we can get started, because this is a long time coming, and I know you've worked hard on this.
Yeah.
And this is I think
Would
one of the
you-
most important things we've done in a long time.
Would you rather have it close at 11:59 PM on the 27th so we can address it on the 28th?
What,
Can we address it even if, oh yeah, I guess we can address it because if it'll be on the agenda the previous Thursday, right?
Yeah.
And then we just talk about people.
You
What-
just won't have their applications
if it's 5 o'clock, they have to submit it by 5 o'clock.
on Thursday.
Yeah,
Right,
but
well,
we won't have it
in
for
the
the
packet.
packet,
I
but
don't
we
think
can print it
Yes,
out,
you
yeah.
won't have the applications.
It's fine.
I'm not so concerned about that.
Yeah.
Haven't we already advertised the
We
at-large?
did put it in the last one, Jerry wanted me to put it in the last, news blast.
Okay.
just to
Yeah, but
kinda
we're
get
gonna have
the
a
ball
second,
rolling.
yeah,
Yeah.
so.
Well, the
Yeah.
process
So
has
it'll be there for
started.
like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
All
I
right,
mean-
so Monday. night.
So what
Monday
you're
night's
saying
fine.
is we'll approve the nominees on the meeting of July 28th. So people have to have that in before the beginning of that meeting.
And Joe, if
Monday
you
the
could reach
27th.
out, I know the planning board has already
Yeah.
selected
Julia.
Julie Kaplinger and Brian Lenoir is there, gonna be their alternate.
Mm-hmm.
And if you could reach out to
She's
the
busy.
Conservation Commission and the Agricultural Committee, that would be great.
Yeah.
Invite them.
And I already mentioned it to the ag committee that this was getting pulled together, so I think it's on their radar.
Can you guys just edit the document before it goes out on
Yep.
Friday to have it say two?
Yep.
And can
Thank
we,
you, John and Rebecca, for stepping up on this.
can we also put on the agenda at our next meeting to approve the resolution establishing an interim economic development committee, so that they
Mhm.
have the purpose, the mission, the
Can you
responsibilities.
email me?
Did we did
And
that?
we'll
We
put-
did.
What's that?
Can you email me that and we'll put, yeah.
Yeah.
Write it down.
Okay.
Um,
All right, I've written it down, but my brain's a
No,
little
for
fried.
him as a.
No, I'll email both. No.
You just wanna vote on the updated draft of
Mhm.
the resolution.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want us to have it so that.
So we'll
when you-
approve members and approve the resolution in the same meeting, yeah,
And that way you can call them all together and get a meeting going
perfect,
on Wednesday.
Which will,
awesome.
That's for July 28th meeting.
You're running that meeting, I won't be here, so
Oh,
you gotta put it on the agenda. Gotcha. All right, cool. Any other questions for George?
Yes, if I may,
Yeah.
I don't know if this is appropriate for George tonight or not, but the planning board it's more for us, but the planning board has a solar farm on their agenda. I think they're doing the site walk next week, maybe,
Mhm.
the 24th.
20.
And my question is, how does that work with contract zoning?
It,
Because we had talked about, back when we were approving it,
yeah,
solar farms were going to be channel, large ones like this, were gonna be channeled through contract zoning.
Does this break that threshold?
No.
No, it doesn't break the
What was the
threshold.
It's quite a bit, it's quite a bit smaller than the 20 acres. The total project.
It wasn't
site-
20 acres?
No, total project site is 11 acres.
11, no, but
Yeah.
that was our threshold, was 20 acres.
20.
Yeah,
20.
that was the threshold
Answers
for
my
contract
question.
zoning, yeah.
Answers my question.
My notes say July 28th was supposed to be our goal setting meeting. Is that wrong?
That's-
We're changing that?
That's I got confirmation from GP Cog that it's in August, our first
Okay.
August meeting, sorry. I think I sent a forwarded that email along a couple weeks ago. I
Yeah.
can double check. Good question though, John, thank you.
Thank you, George.
Yep.
Good work.
Just a quick follow-up then, if it's okay. So that means on the July 28th meeting where we should come back with what are our next steps for this pit business, you won't be here and Josh will be leading that, which is fine with me. But I
Yeah.
just want to say we.
Joe will send notes
Yeah, well, I'm,
Yeah,
or text. I get
I-
text. too.
but it's, I mean, it's
Let me
really
check
just what
my-
is our near-term action plan to address these
I
things?
think
Yeah.
we need to have it. I think we need to have a discussion,
Yes.
and then we need to set it at a future meeting after that to decide. Let's, I think frankly, I think we need to have a workshop.
Yeah.
And we need to spend some time on it because I'll have some other comments in the board member reports about other things that are somewhat related to that.
Yeah, okay.
yeah,
So-
I don't think that a resolution can be taken at the next meeting. Like, there's I know much to the chagrin of some of the members of our community, we can't really unilaterally from this meeting to next meeting do something. Next meeting, we can start the process of like, what other information do we need to gather? Let's make sure we have everyone's feedback. Let's make sure we hear from Calvin as to what his feedback is. I know he's been out there
Yeah.
several times.
That's
Um,
basically what I mean. I
yeah.
didn't mean we
Yeah.
go out and do things. for
Yeah,
the
no, no,
foods, but
yeah.
Just like. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's a very important topic.
Did we approve the resolution for this committee tonight?
We're
We're
gonna do
doing
that
it
at
next
next
meeting.
meeting.
Next
Yep.
meeting, okay.
We're gonna approve the volunteers, then we can change the resolution to a life term and then approve the resolution.
Yeah, it's in front.
Thank
Thanks,
you, George.
Thank you both.
Alrighty, well, item C here, discussion of grant opportunity for fitness. I'm excited about this, as you can imagine. So I sent this big, long detail here to you all. Late last year, early this year, this organization, National Fitness Campaign, sent the select board inbox an email. You all might have seen it, just saying that they wanted to discuss opportunities for community health, and I followed up with them and had a one-on-one meeting just to get their feedback. Mostly because I'm familiar with the product that they have here, these community exercise locations, because I have used the one in Lewiston. I've used some across various other states as well during my travels, and more or less I met with them to ask them the real question: what does this cost? How does this work? And so their goal, as you can see in this presentation, is to locate what they call a fitness court within like a 20-minute bike ride of everyone in the country. And so these are, what's that?
In the country. Oh, I see.
Yeah, so it's a national, they have a national grant funding to work with communities to help them figure out ways to establish these. And so these are things, as you can see on some of the photos here. This photo right here shows, this is the one that's in Lewiston. And it has a area for people to do lunges, step ups. It's fully handicap accessible for exercise routines. There's an app associated with it should you choose to use it. There's an exercise layout, so how you can get some exercise. They go on a 30 by 30 pad, and they were discussing opportunities here in Durham. And so I had a meeting with this person just to get some info and explaining to them that no one makes any unilateral decisions here, but I could gather info to present to you all. And this is what we have here. So they have a grant program where if you agree to pursue one of these, they can do a quick 2-week turnaround grant, and essentially the organization itself can award $20,000 or $30,000 towards the construction of one of these with a zero match effort. Then they have local state sponsors and other national sponsors to work with communities to help close the gap on the rest of the grant funding. I had explained, if this is something that the board wanted to consider, we'd probably, I didn't want to speak for everyone here, but we'd probably want to consider a $0 fiscal impact for the community. And it sounds like that is a model that has been used in the past for these to get grants to cover the entire cost. There's a little bit of a cost breakdown in here, but generally these exercise areas can run, around $160,000. And they're built up of a few parts. The concrete work for the pad that goes down, 30 by 30 pad, very simple. The exercise equipment that gets installed, and then the labor. And so they have a example here of a fitness court on one of these pages. Total cost around $200,000. At least $30,000 in grant from them. $170,000 that needs to be made up elsewhere. They found that the concrete pad is very simple. Sometimes local businesses will donate that, or usually municipal works department can very quickly manage that. And then they work with us, if we were to go with them, to find other grant opportunities. I asked them, what would it look like if we decided to pursue this? And we never ended up being able to raise the funds. And they said their grant is non-binding. They say, hey, we've awarded for you. Hold on to it. You've got a few years to raise funds. If you want, you can do that. The discussion I had with the locations in town that this could go was potentially at the end of the parking lot in the town hall, because that's already handicap accessible, and it would be essentially right off of left field of the baseball field. And so it would be up against the tree line there, out of sight, out of mind, and not in the way of any future downtown envisioning that we've talked about there. And so what I was looking for tonight was the board to take a look at this, if interested, approve us to sign up and get the grant funding that they offer, and have them come give us presentations on the other grant funding opportunities available, with the understanding that we want to explore this option at a $0 fiscal note. Because obviously we don't have it in the budget to purchase this or front this or anything like that, and that's not what I'm asking for. But I just thought it would be a useful investment in the community, and I wanted to hear people's thoughts. We can also punt it for later. Just wanted to get it on people's radar. So
I
Sorry, go
Yeah.
ahead. I was just gonna say, I like it as long as it is a zero, investment. If we can come up with, funding, then yeah, I think it would go very nicely with the idea of our economic development of over here, with the town office being updated one day in the near, hopefully, future. That was all I was gonna say.
I agree with all that. The only concern I have is the extra work for town staff for doing the grants, and
Yeah.
And
that's one thing I asked them about. So their grant application is like a 2-page thing, and it's pretty much a guarantee. Here you go.
Right.
Then they have a local sponsor in each state who helps staff handle all the other grant applications, because it's this big national conglomeration. And so that was one of the concerns I had, is what's the lift look like for staff? It sounds like it's relatively low, and would be done over a longer period of time. And so I think the nice thing is, with everything being non-binding, we could evaluate if this is like something that's taking too long. We could say, hey, we either need to seek a volunteer or seek somebody else, or just say, no, we don't have the capacity on this. So I totally understand that perspective.
I fully support it.
Yeah. Any other questions?
I like the ideas.
Yeah. One thing that was unique was they were explaining that, like, a lot of times in communities, there's like local businesses who will, work to volunteer, and there's this backdrop on it that the equipment hangs off of, and they can put businesses' brand on the back of that if they donate to a certain extent.
Love it. That
Um,
was gonna be my second
yeah.
question about branding.
Yeah, they can do branding there.
Or
So if
advertising.
someone, and that's where we could say, hey, we found this grant opportunity and it has, a matching component. We could say, like, a $10,000 match. Well, $10,000 from a sponsor could get you the placement on the back or whatever, and then we can leverage that. the other thing that can be considered, like if there were to be an example, and I'm not saying this is the only way to do it, but were to be an example of, well, the town public works is gonna level the area out and prep it. All that time could count as count as in-kind contribution for grant opportunities too. And so they have a really big experience of like getting these on the ground in rural and small communities. There's two other in the state that have them, but they have experience getting them on the ground in an area that needs it. They also found one of the things we talked about with that location would be close proximity to EMT. Should there be a medical event, it falls under the same protection and insurance policy as our other recreation things, but that brings people close. And they like having them near schools because they have found school teams have used their coaches have used them to do like exercise up there with students. And I know that one thing we've heard from the baseball team is that they need to get more space for the kids to do things when they have overlapping practices, and so there's some opportunity to address that as well. So,
I would agree. I think nothing's ever free, but it would be free. I mean, we don't want to commit any kind of money. The question I would have though is maybe Lewiston can help us with this. What does it cost to maintain it every year? Is there repainting? Is there, is it minimal? Is it, you gotta do this every 5 years or, whatever that may be? And then I guess the question would be, if we keep it close to the school, would they be willing to participate in it? And I don't know if that we want to, but if they,
I don't think they have any money.
yeah, they would, but that we'd see that when they come to us with their budget later on. So,
yeah, like I said,
they said, "Yeah, we'll front it, John."
Nothing's ever free.
Yeah, and I mean to that point too, I agree with you. Nothing's ever free. The hope is, a lot of these grant opportunities are coming from elsewhere. If they're tied up in other taxes or something, bringing them back to us is always the goal. So, I just wanted to bring it in front of you all to, the person who presented to me, I've talked to him twice now. He's more than happy to, talk with anyone on the board or give us a presentation. Just thought it might be a cool opportunity here. So, I guess what I'm asking for is I'd like to I'll make a motion to approve beginning the grant process for the fitness court. Yeah. Do I have a second?
Is it just the fitness court or the studio?
Just the fitness courts. The studio was 30 by 60, and then just essentially has a blank area for people to go do yoga and karate and all that sort of stuff. So, alrighty. Do we have any other questions or discussions? I should caveat at this point, there's no fiscal note tied to this in terms of budgetary. And any fiscal note that would arise from it would have to be brought back to us. So.
Maybe it'd be good to find a champion for this.
Well, that's
somebody in the community.
I had those ideas. Well, no, not me. I had those ideas, but I did there's some people who offer fitness classes in the community, and other communities have found that people who offer those fitness classes oftentimes partner to say, hey, rather than meeting in the parking lot and exercising, we can go over there. There's businesses that I know of that might be interested, but I didn't want to approach or discuss this with anyone until we had approval and buy-in here,
We also may want to have.
We get the firefighters out there pumping iron.
We also may want to have them talk to the RSU 5 community. Yeah, because there's always, because of the yoga class. I mean, you were talking about that doing the torch.
Oh yeah, the little booklet.
Studio, but we do RSU 5 community does yoga. They do adult and kid programming and camps, and the group can really use extra space. There's always we're always running out of space.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
and you may want to actually reach out to somebody at the art. I know. Yeah,
Peter Wagner.
Well, he's
somebody
from RSU 5 community to maybe help and be a proponent of this.
Also, Nick Lyons is the phys ed teacher over at the school over here.
Yeah, I mean, my hope was that once, if motion passes tonight, I would then try to identify other community partners to champion this and then work with them, because that's the model that they have found has worked. Is you find other grant opportunities, other community partners, and this is something I could work on and bring back reports to everyone on. So
I think if we put it in the news blast that we're exploring a grant in this area, any fitness instructors
Oh,
or
yeah.
leaders within the town of Durham who want more information, contact Joe.
Yeah.
And then we can just kind of get things rolling a little bit and get
Yeah.
people involved with the.
I believe Nick Lyons, he got a grant, there's a whole ropes course over at the
Mhm.
school that he works with, and also the Tiger Trails, the fitness trail,
Oh,
and the
yeah.
story walk on, so.
Well,
They have
and
a lot of projects like that over there.
my thought
Really
process too
good.
is if there we could then put a trail through the woods from that to the school, and then they could use it. There's other opportunities there. So, cool. So we have a motion. It's been seconded. We've had discussion. Any all in favor? Any opposition?
Thanks for
Seeing none.
volunteering.
Yeah, no, that's why I didn't volunteer for business development. I'm gonna go over to the one in Lewiston and film a promo video of like pull ups and stuff like
What is
that.
it?
Oh gosh, right down by the river.
Oh, okay.
yeah. That's a pretty cool setup. Alrighty, manager report. So
Wait, what about these other, grant opportunities? There's like a whole list of stuff. Is
But
this
those
just-
are all
oh,
part
those
of
are
it.
all part of this. So the people who sent it, they already have identified in Maine and in US wide what grant opportunities exist. But
Oh,
these
I
are
see.
all like after you say yes, we're gonna go with you all. This
I
is where
see.
I can go
I'm
home,
sorry.
go back, do some homework, start asking. Some of them have rolling application windows. Some of them have limitations to, communities of a certain size, those sorts of things. So that attachment is just the list of the known partners who
Yes, I see.
who participate. So yeah.
Okay.
We have some former board members who are fitness gurus that are business owners too. Maybe reach out to them. Yeah, like this is the list on that first page, page 69. It says the
Yeah.
program. It's all these are all the, NFL Foundation grassroots program. Like the skate park project doesn't qualify, but T-Mobile hometown grants is a big one that people can get, and the goal is to piece together all of them. So
That's great. Good job, Joe.
well, we'll see. Alrighty, nothing else in new business. Manager report. So Jerry had sent along, as we know that Jerry's been out. He had sent along, and I forwarded to the group an update on the pay as you throw bags. So as of right now, the get and go, and this page that we sent along is going to go out in all forms of communication that we have, and then I was going to do an update video after later this week, on social media, going over this, and also encourage people. Like I understand not everyone uses the internet, not everyone signed up for texting. If you know someone who doesn't, you can be a voice in your community too to get them up to speed on this as well. And we're gonna post this at the town office. Already posted at the town office. Yep. And so the pay-as-you-throw retailers that have agreed to these are people who have agreed to carry the bags. The Durham Get and Go, the Hannaford and Topsom, Food City in Lisbon Falls, Market Basket in Topsom, Hannaford on Spring Street in Auburn, Shaw's on Center Street in Auburn, Hannaford and Brunswick on Elm Street, Shaw's in Freeport on Lower Main Street, Hannaford and Lewiston on Sabattis Street, and Shaw's and Lewiston on East Avenue. So all of these folks have been set up with the bags contract. It's just on the store managers to order the bags. My understanding is that Durham Get and Go has already ordered bags, and so that's the closest one to here. The bags will be available. There's 2 sizes. And they will both be available at those locations. The turnaround time is very quick. The Waste Zero said that if someone orders bags on a Wednesday before 3 p.m., they should be at their store by Friday morning, so they can get them ordered really, really quickly.
Quick question.
Yeah.
You had talked about it being online for
There-
online retail.
There is not an online retailer. They had indicated to us when we first brought them in that they was,
Yeah.
and they're now saying that they don't have online retailer capacity. But my understanding is that if you do, like Hannaford to go or any of the other to go, you can add them to your basket there for pickup. It is frustrating that they were here when we said, "Can you sell them online?" And they said yes. And so we will pull on that thread more because that's very frustrating to me.
So are we gonna keep track on our town website well, I'm sure we'll have the list of these places, but.
Yeah, this will live
which
on the
one-
front, yeah.
which businesses have acquired the bags?
Yeah.
I mean, as they get the bags
Mhm.
in, we should have our residents be able to look at this list and say, oh, Food City's
Yeah.
good, just like the startup of it.
I think that'll fall
do
on
that?
some of us to check the stores.
It's out there.
I know, John, you emailed me a couple weeks ago, said if we need help on anything else, let you know. It's like, I got a
Well,
list
I'm
of
happy to-
locations here for you.
They weren't a get-go yesterday.
Yeah.
But I go to Food City occasionally. I don't like to shop, but I go to Food City, I go to
Mhm.
Shaw's. So I think it is kind of like, I don't know whether we divide it up or we just,
Yeah.
if you go shopping, look in the, ask the manager, and if they're not there, maybe we ask the manager, say, cause,
Well, we explained to them, Jerry said he explained to everyone that August, the first week of August is our start date for this. And so we need them available before that. And Waste Zero says everyone that you've got signed up is in a position to make sure they're there before that. What I would say is that we're going to start, Jerry said that starting in August, public works staff and Waste Zero and folks like that will be able to start doing inspections around town to make sure compliance, and we'll ramp that up throughout August and into September, understanding that if we see that places are getting really slow to stock them, there will be grace there, and this is going to be a learning process. It's going to take a time to transition into using this system. Casella is going to be able to watch with their camera to see are the bags going in there purple or not, and help out with that too. So it's, not encouraging people to say, all right, well, when are they really gonna start cranking down on us? But we understand that it's gonna take a little bit of time.
So I have an ask for the next town blast and the website. So here, where it says it has to be more updated than this, where it says the 15-gallon small bag, it needs to have the price. Like, so there's no link for it. Now when you link to it, it's just a picture. There's no link. So we do have to have a link on the blast
Yep.
to go to the website that will specify how much the 15 and 30-gallon bags are. And then a list to find the retailers, click here, or something like that.
Yeah, I think that Pay As You Throw could use its own tab on the website.
I
right
agree.
Now. Yep.
And
And we've got some public feedback asking for that as well, so I want to make sure.
And your
we'll raise
video
that.
will help as well.
Yeah. So.
Maybe with your video, wait until specifically for this, wait until it's actually on the website.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you can direct people and then link to it as
Yep.
well.
Again, my point is we have this list of retailers that will carry the bags. If next week I'm worried about getting my bags, and people are, I feel that they should be able to go to a list on the website and see if they've arrived at that location or not.
Yeah, or at least
Because we
we
don't want we don't want residents looking at a list, oh, they have them here, and then go to the store, oh, they're not there, and then there's all this.
Yeah, and there's obviously a chance that
hoopla.
someone sells out, but we don't want to
Right,
send
that's
them there and
right.
they say, oh yeah, we
Right.
order them, they'll be here next
Right,
week. It's like,
right.
well, I drove here today to get them, because I don't want to make any excuses here. Like, this is the town asking residents to do something new, do something different. It's not, it interrupts your standard flow of life. This is not like we're saying, oh, it's not a big deal. It's not going to change anything for you. We want to make it as smooth as possible. Josh, you
I
had
was
something.
just gonna say, I know the Get and Go is already ordered there, so.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
They should be
perfect,
there
so,
soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, no, I guess if we go to Market Basket and they're there, then feedback, or, we just feedback to Jerry or somebody
Yeah.
says, I was at Market Basket on the 24th and they don't have them, or
I'm gonna go
not
and
make a
say,
big deal of it, but it's not there that day.
I'll go and say, I want to speak to the manager.
Well, I will. I mean,
Yeah.
if
Well,
it's not there, I'm gonna make sure that he knows, he or she knows.
that's one thing is I think that we want to give people said they can do it. Jerry gets an update. Waste Zero has an update with folks on Thursdays, so they should get an update again this Thursday. If Jerry when he gets back, if he gets anything troubling from that update, he can say, hey, this is the issue where we're holding up.
Oh, right.
And then, I hope we don't have to, because a lot of like these, like Shaw's and Market Basket and Hannaford, they already carry other towns. So it's just a matter of checking the box to say, yep, send me
Make
Durham's
sure that
too.
he knows,
Yeah, and
because
so
sometimes you
if,
check on this stuff and you get the 1,000-mile stare.
well, and
which
if it
is
doesn't happen, I think it's our responsibility to make sure we're
Feedback.
following up on that and having grace with folks in town, you know. But Get and Go is gonna be
Said,
ready to
as soon as
go.
You get him, put him out, he said he would. So.
Yeah, perfect. Awesome. Other thing from Jerry's report here. So, he just wanted to flag right away. We certainly admin is going to be over budget this year. A staff person who has changed their benefit election due to within the rights of what they're allowed to change because of life events. And they've gone from cash in lieu, which is $1,200, to family, which is $33,000. And so the admin department has never been under budget by that amount. And so Jerry's saying that it's pretty much guaranteed that admin will be over budget because of that election change. We did not budget for anyone to change insurance election. We do have money set aside for things like unemployment and contingency, but the likelihood of making it through the next year with $32,000 under budget is unlikely because we know we're usually coming in at about 99.6% of budgeted use for our town. And so obviously going to work to mitigate that, but it is, the fact of being an employer, and Jerry just wanted to flag for us as soon as possible because he says, as soon as I know something's going on, I want to let you all know. And so wanted to just share that with you tonight. And obviously we'll see financial reports throughout the year. A few different ways we can handle this as the year goes on. And at times, what's happened in the past, if a department's gone over budget, the following year they have to ask for that to be dispersed out of the town's funds or raised and appropriated to cover it. But this is just shows some of the challenges of being a small employer. You don't have the ebb and flow of people adding, people coming off, and so that's just something Jerry wanted to make us all aware of. So, if you have questions about it, let Jerry know. Alrighty, board member reports, chair. I don't have anything other than thank you to the two board members who are stepping up in that extra committee capacity. And I'm sure Deb will give us an update, but thank you to Deb for your continued work with the bandstand. Josh, anything?
I do. So, as you know, I work for the district attorney's office.
Mhm.
We have a nationally renowned, award-winning prosecutor who handles our driving offenses. She put on a national conference in Freeport that was attended by people from all over the country.
Wow.
And she drove from her home through Durham 4 days last week. And she said to me, Josh, you need to talk to the state about lowering your speed limits. Because it's too fast and it's not safe and no one's abiding by them anyway. And I said, well, yeah, but I said I would share that. I said she specifically talked about sort of the area on that side of 136 towards Freeport, and on parts of Route 9. So things that we heard about today. I told her that they've been in and I think they've done those and they don't really care.
Did they ever answer? I mean, he came back and he being the MDOT guy in I don't know, right shortly after the death. Have we ever heard back from him?
I can ask Jerry. I don't.
I mean, they were gonna check on a whole, stop signs here.
Yeah.
Do lower the speed limit? He was gonna get his boss out
Something,
here.
yeah.
I mean, I think you're in support of that. I think they owe us an answer.
There's also another massive accident on 125 in Soper the other day
Yep.
where a truck was overturned.
Gravel truck, yeah.
So, but one of the things I think when we're talking about Rabbit Road, and one of the people tonight mentioned it, it's going to affect all these other roads. And frankly, for me, with a kid at the school, that makes me nervous. I mean, you're looking at those lines at the beginning of the day. I don't do pickup, but I've done drop off. And those lines are, it's terrible. It's dangerous because you're so backed up. People are so impatient. And so, I think, we need to, at the next meeting, we're gonna talk about these things, but I think we need to have a workshop to
Public
address
safety.
public safety roads, and I will come back to a thing we did, and we did a straw poll, and it did pass. But on every different thing, we're hearing about reasons why we should have more law enforcement coverage. I don't necessarily want the extra work in my office, because we're busy enough as it is, and I don't want the cost. But you know, the speed of the trucks, the speed of the other vehicles, I mean, there's only one way we're gonna be able to control that, and and we're not gonna be able to do it, you know, with one unit on at a time either. You know, and as I've said before, I have these discussions with members of the sheriff's department, from patrol deputies up to the sheriff, and every one of them, it feels like a canned speech sometimes. You're out on an island in Durham, because everything else that we cover is over here, and we have to go through Lisbon, Lewiston, Auburn, who have their own police departments. And so, I, you know,
The sheriffs stay busy on Route 4 and Turner. We can just
Right.
just say it.
And they do, because I do push, and I'm not always so nice about it, say you need to be down here, and I've at times seen them down here more. You know, not when they're responding to an accident, but, you know, we've had multiple meetings about public safety where that's been an issue raised, and, you know, I hear everybody talking about, you know, do the weight limits, do this. But that doesn't address some of these other overriding issues that are causing the accidents, which are speed, and inattentiveness. And there's only one way to control those. Lowering the speed limit, I don't think is gonna do anything. And so, I think at some point we need to have a serious conversation, and I think we need to plan on a workshop that includes, you know, business owners, the public, and the sheriff's department, about this issue, to see how, and DOT, and obviously Calvin and the chief, but all of the stakeholders, not at a 6:30 meeting, but,
Right.
you know, on a Saturday if we have to, or whatever, where we're sitting together and we're talking about, you know, how are we gonna hold you businesses accountable? We understand, you know, these are how, things like that, and so I understand people want it done quickly, and there are some things we can do, but nothing's going to address the issue completely until we do that, and I think, you know, that's gotta happen, and that's my little.
Can I make a comment to all that? My concern is we have done very little to even improve the situation. I brought up multiple times about these radar signs, if that's what you call them. And I drive down Main Street in Lisbon 3 times a week, and they're practically every 2 miles. And for me, they work. I mean, why can't we pick some locations and get those up?
Yeah.
I know I think they're maybe a little pricey, but it is a level of awareness and improvement. If you had those signs and maybe lower the speed limit, if the state is willing to do that, and even if not, I think people aren't even just aware of how fast they're going. I mean, I've gotten 2 complaints from older residents on, is it 125? You know,
Coming up there.
off the bridge, going towards, you know, Shiloh that way, where these older residents are scared to get their mail. It's so bad. And all we have is the standard speed limit signs that are everywhere. We have not, in some rare cases where people are complaining, Calvin has been putting those fancy signs up, but you can buy those permanent solar related, hey, you're
Like flashing
going
sign?
42 in a 25. That would help improve things. And I don't know how much they cost or how significant the issue is financially, but
Well, I wonder if
we're
there's
not
public safety
taking,
grants.
right, I mean,
And the
We
sheriff's
should be
department-
doing like that. And we talked about that when that gentleman was killed and we had the guy come. It's like, what are we doing soon? And it's a year later and
Yeah.
you didn't return, you
There's-
know.
Well, and real quick, I think that John brought up a good point last meeting too, when you talked about the law of unintended consequences as well, because I don't think anyone up here is a transportation expert. And so in my mind, it's like, oh, yeah, shut down this road. Okay, well now all those trucks are coming down here. And I talked to a business owner in town that deals with heavy trucking. And he's like, that's been brought up before, but then we'd all have to go by the school. Now I got to bring feller bunchers and dump trucks and all that by the school during school hours. Yeah, I know to slow down, but also this is a really hard corner to turn for some of that equipment. And so like, we don't need to get into a nanny state, but maybe there's something more we can do and involve people who have more subject matter knowledge. I can bring this up to see if maybe GP Cog has public safety support, because we're hearing about it a lot.
Yeah.
And you're hearing about it from someone who is a subject matter expert
Yeah,
on the topic.
that's really key there. I'm saying
and
that.
the sheriff's department does have the signs like we have that they'd be willing to put out, I think.
Yeah, let's get
And
to
so
I
if
mean,
you'd
are
like,
they
if
the
you,
signs like Lisbon has on Main Street?
No,
Have you
I-
seen this?
Yeah.
though not the ones like that are built onto sign, but the portable ones like
Oh,
we
right.
have.
Yeah, Calvin has the
And two.
one.
He has
There's
two,
two
yeah.
up right
I
now.
know
Yeah.
There's two out right now.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
prompted actually by a resident that called me that was he was just having a hard time getting out of his driveway.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so I know that those two are employed right now, but we don't, it's like, it's always shifting.
I
And, like,
just,
we're-
my
the-
suggestion is.
To me, that's gonna help at least people who don't realize, like, when they pull someone over doing 108 on River Road, that sign's not gonna slow that person down. Like, that happened. But it's like, I've seen that sign and been like, oh, I didn't realize I was going 52 here,
Yeah. I mean,
so
I think
anything
those
can
signs
help.
are an
And-
awareness
That's
factor.
what the drawback is that some people see those signs and want to see how fast they can go.
Yeah.
Which is why some of them now say just slow down and
Max.
not the
Yeah.
speed or
Too
something.
fast.
Right. But
Well, I like the
I-
idea, I think Josh is, it is a holistic approach and a law of unintended consequences. But we really probably need it to, we do something to Rabbit Road. But then, is there another road? There's Swamp Road. And then where's all that traffic that is supposedly going on Rabbit? It is gonna come down this
Yeah.
way. And so we at least need to talk through.
Yeah.
I heard what everybody was saying was post Rabbit, block Rabbit, mine Rabbit, whatever it
Yeah.
may be, but there is a consequence to that.
Mhm.
And all I can think
We
about.
need to decide and say, we're willing to take more traffic in front of the school. And one
Nice.
gentleman mentioned that was a concern of his,
Mhm.
not this,
this building, I think, is what concerns me because I think you're right. They're gonna get stuck out at this intersection, which is terrible to begin with. And then you're gonna have a line here, and if an emergency response is necessary going that way, you're gonna create more
Yeah.
danger for
Yeah.
everybody.
and I would like to have MDOT be part of that discussion.
Yes,
Because
actually, they should
they
just
control that
facilitate it.
intersection. I mean, they
Yeah.
flat owe us an answer. I mean,
Mhm.
it's been 6 months and,
You're right.
and they blow, in my opinion, blown us off.
I think there needs to be a roundabout out here, and that's the safest way to get people
I-
to slow down. And
I mean,
but
so what I'm
no
hearing
expert, so.
here is there, I hate death by committee, but do we need to explore a public safety committee for the community to like get some involvement, community involvement here? There's passionate stakeholders involved. We have business people in town who are, I don't want to say contributing to the problem, but could be affected by constraints differently. It's like, is this something we need to explore more of?
I mean, that would help with finding grants. If that committee could be in charge of finding public safety grants out there, as well as petitioning with the MDOT for four-way stop signs that are needed at Hallowell and Rabbit or, Runaround, as well as 125 and Soper. I think like those are really important things to have. We do have a ton of committees, but this isn't the worst.
Yeah.
I mean,
To
I
me,
think,
that's
we need to get, because everything they was saying tonight, most of it revolves around Route 9.
Mhm.
And, we've got 125 the Soper and 125 sucks because, it's a two-way.
Yeah,
and-
We have
bad
that
intersection.
people coming from BWI going back to Lewiston or Auburn
Yeah, there's a
coming.
park and ride in town.
I mean, it is in the morning. I walk the dog on Meadow and it is nonstop traffic on Soper
Mhm.
going down
I mean,
Swan.
dump trucks are not the only issue we get,
Right,
but I think
and they blow past the four-way.
I
stop.
would really like to find out ASAP what,
Mhm.
and,
I'll email
knows.
Jerry tonight to make
Yeah,
sure we
and
close the
then I
loop on
recognize he
that.
may be
Yeah.
laid up for a while, but, and they've been busy, but they should have done their study, he should have talked to his boss. He should have come out and looked at it, so they probably owe us.
But I'm sure that there's somebody else in town who has some background. No?
I will say one of the challenges I know from, because I've had some further, not with that DOT person, but some further discussions I've had. The tools that many of us answer involving MDOT doesn't get those tools put into place because they're saying we already pay attention to our roads. We have this metric. We know that we put out the road, those little black strips you run over that counts cars. We count cars. We know how long it is of a sight view. We know how many houses. This is that speed limit. And your issue seems to be like, because what I'm hearing tonight, some of the issue is people are blowing the speed limit away. They're running stoplights, and then regardless of speed, the volume of traffic is different than what it was when they moved to the road. And so some of those things MDOT isn't going to do anything about. They're going to say, it's an enforcement issue. The road speed limit's 40 miles an hour. Everyone calls Rabbit Road Rabbit Raceway. They're speeding. No one's enforcing it. They know no one enforces it. That's one of the issues. So I'm gonna follow up with DOT, but I know that they might say like, it's your road, not our road, those sorts of things. So we have that's where I think a public safety committee could also help address some of those, like what sort of advocacy can be done that is not tied to, increasing police or getting DOT involved. Like, what's the process of getting it so everyone has their mailbox on the side of the road that their driveway is on? I don't know. Like, we've got trash now, so you don't have to cross the road. Is there other ways to decrease crossing the road? Are these other things that can be looked at? Do we get a volunteer crossing guard person to stand in front of the school during certain times? I don't know these answers. I'm just saying someone in town probably does.
That's what I'm saying. I think it would be probably good to put feelers out there for a committee.
I think the committee is a long-term solution, but we need something more short-term, near term.
Yeah.
And I think that involves a meeting of the stakeholders.
Yeah, and I think the Jerry and Calvin and Chief and, that having that, if nothing else, at least we will have aired the issues, because I heard what everybody was saying, some of it was emotional. I mean, how do you know they're doing 60 miles an hour? I mean, when you're standing still and a big truck drives past you, it may be faster than you're slower than you think it is. And so we need to take some of that emotion out and sit down and say, okay, here's the law of unintended consequences. Okay, doing Rabbit Road is the right thing to do, and we can do that. But recognize it's gonna come this way.
I do know to your point too, some of the questions that were about both noise and traffic, that study is supposed to be done as part of their conditional use permit for the pit. So there's at least a lever there getting some facts and data for us as well. But
we don't know where those trucks are coming from.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the issue is.
Well, perfect example is there was a complaint filed about truck traffic. Assumed that it was related to the pit, and then video from that same day shows no truck traffic into the pit at that time. The complaint filed about truck traffic was not associated with the pit. And so the complaint is about, I'm seeing trucks go by my house at 5:30. It's not that pit, drive down, run around Pond Road, drive out to Pownell. There's a lot of trucking going on.
They're delivering to, and I will commend Calvin, I think sent us all an email where he went out and looked and he checked and he did a nice response to the residents. But there were, like he said, that, wasn't that particular pit, it wasn't.
But I still hear the concern there's a lot more traffic here than what I expected when we first moved here. Is there anything we can do about that? I don't know. We can look into it. I don't know what the answer is, but
I was gonna say, I also am not sure how we sort of change the permits of the already existing.
I'm not sure we can do that.
Right. I mean, that's something if it's gonna cost us more money to bring a lawyer about, see what we can and can't do.
Yeah.
And that's,
Yeah.
Just anecdotally, I remember about 47 years ago, walking the cows back with my father-in-law on the stone Stackpole Road. And he was madder than hell because the town had just approved paving Stackpole Road.
Mm-hmm.
So, things change, I
Yeah.
guess.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's tough. Deb, do you have anything to add? Or Josh, do you have anything else to add to your board member report?
no, sorry, I feel like I hijacked.
No, that's fine. That's what
That
the
was
meeting's
good.
for. Deb, do you have anything for board member report?
Yeah, I met with the Historical Society leads, Tia and Emily, on the bandstand issue. And here, I just want to kind of summarize where we think we're headed. We have a number of residents who have volunteered to be part of a bandstand renovation. And our thoughts are that these volunteers will be responsible for actually doing the renovation. We have one resident who has a construction company who is willing to work with Tia and possibly a couple other folks to put together a material list, go really look at everything, put together a material list. And then I contacted Jerry about whether we have, do we have to have bids on the material? And we need to follow the purchasing policy that we have online. So I need to get back with Tia on that. But that's where we are. We're gonna do a little video and awareness campaign that things are starting to move. And I noticed the Historical Society has actually been posting on their website, and I didn't get a chance to follow up and show that to Jerry to make sure he's aware of that. But Tia and her team will take the lead on making sure the work gets done, basically through some dedicated nights where people will come at that location. And we're gonna try to get this Eagle Scout involved, who voiced some interest in taking a lead there. We haven't been able to connect with him yet. But so where we are now is I envision that we'll have a material list ready, along with a strategy plan to bring to the select board officially. So we can understand exactly what's happening.
That's
Exciting. Just to remind everyone too, there's already money set aside
Yes.
in the budget for this, so.
Will we have a process to transfer that money? I mean, are they gonna,
No, we're gonna do Jerry's response to me was this stuff needs to go through the town office, like the policy. So once we get the material list and you take it to wherever we're taking it, to get quotes on what that is, then I'll work with Jerry. Probably, I'll work however I'm supposed to work.
Yeah.
Through Jerry.
I'm
or
sure
through
Jerry
us
will clarify.
and get that material purchased. And then Tia and Emily will lead, along with a couple key players, carpenter people. I'm sure will step up and run the work days.
Yeah.
A few work days.
It's exciting.
I have no useful skills, but I can move stuff around.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. I know that people are pretty excited about doing it. And I also have somebody going over there and taking some pictures. We're gonna do it a little bit of an awareness campaign. So, I mean, I have to admit, I've only ever stepped up and looked at that closely when I got involved. When you asked me to get involved, I thought, well, this would look really nice if it was all fresh new, because it is really a nice structure.
Well,
Can be beautiful. And then, then we'll talk about, moving forward and who would be responsible for decorating it or whatever it is we're gonna do, which.
Yeah, and I'm excited to hear about that because, knowing that now the plan is to just renovate it into a monument and a lot of donated time and effort. There could be money left over in that 30,000 that's set aside. And I see that could, as part about that re-envisioning, I see that could maybe go towards buying certain decorations. So there's always a 4th of July motif.
Right.
There's always a holiday season
Right.
motif or something like that could be stored somewhere with the Historic Society. So there's an ability for that, even though if it's not going to get physical use, it has aesthetic appeal. Because like they talked about, it's like it would have been beautiful to see that record dressed up for the 250th
Yes,
anniversary,
yeah.
But I'm happy to see we're moving along on things. So
Yeah.
And it was brought up at town meetings. Every year it comes up at town meetings. So
Yeah.
hopefully next year at town meeting, it's, this looks great, you know?
Yeah, and initially, I mean, it doesn't, which I'm like this with everything, like, that doesn't look like it's gonna be that hard.
Yeah.
Or when my husband says this is gonna take forever, no,
Yeah,
no,
that's,
it shouldn't.
that's the beginning statement of
Yeah,
several
right.
week-long projects for me. It doesn't look like it's gonna be that hard.
Anyway, things are moving and the Historical Society leads are excited about
Well,
it.
thank you, Deb, and appreciate your leadership on this. It's really nice to see it moving forward. Rebecca, do you have anything? No? John, do you have anything?
Covered it.
I will loop back because I always forget something. I do have one thing. I have exhausted all options for grant. I know we have a budget for tablets for the members. I have exhausted every option possible to find a grant opportunity for that. So he was actually here earlier. Representative Kilton Webb to the main house sits on the House Technology Committee, and made a request with his office. Their staff looked at everything they could. There is nothing available to buy this for us at this time. Worked with GP Cog. No one has any grants available for technology for something like this at this time. Can't find any other options or anything like that, but I just wanted to follow back because people had suggested we try to find grants for that. And I've exhausted everything. GP Cog exhausted everything, and our representative to the House has exhausted everything. I didn't ask the representative of the Senate because they aren't gonna have any other info, but just letting you know, I'm trying, but couldn't find anything.
It'd be nice not to have all this
It's a lot
Yeah.
of paper.
in color.
How long did it take you to print all this off today?
Well, I delegated that to Devin, so.
How long did it take Devin to do that today? Is
Not
it over an
long,
hour
not long.
or?
He does like the packet, so that's why you have all
Yeah.
everything, he just hits the packet. But like, it's, when we do it that way, it's less time and it's more paper.
Yeah.
So when I take the time to pull out all the files, organize it, it's more time. less
Yeah.
paper, so, yeah.
And don't forget, the time he's spending doing that
It's time.
is time he could be spending doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so I'd like to
Servicing the town.
talk with Jerry about having Devin move forward on finding those for us. And the caveat being, if anyone on the board still wants a packet printed off, we can still print off a packet for you. We just now have the option to limit that. Alrighty. So do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Josh, I'll give it to you. John, I'll give you the second.
I'll second it.
All right, any questions or, all in favor? Any opposition? Seeing none, that's unanimous. All right, upcoming meetings, Conservation Committee meeting on the 15th of July at the Eureka Center, 6:30, Select Board on 28th. I will not be here, so Josh will be leading that meeting at 6:30. Planning Board, August 5th, 2026, at the fire station at 6:30. Solid Waste Committee, August 10th at the Eureka Center at 6:30. We have covered plenty of topics for the next upcoming Select Board that I will digest and send to Josh, and Josh can work with Jerry on getting on the next meeting. I don't believe we need an executive session.
No.
So seeing none, I would accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Josh. John. All right, any questions or discussion? All in favor? Any opposition? Seeing none?
Thank you.
Does anyone feel the need to take home all the paperwork we sign at the end of the meeting tonight? So Jessica has to track it down again?
I will watch John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even know I signed, I like that I signed it.